Come on, kids, it's time to roll. Tell everybody that you know. Watch the Good News Wednesday show. Good News Wednesday's finally here. Let's stand up and give a cheer. Watch the boredom disappear, 'cause Good News Wednesday's here.
Hi, everybody. This is Donovan with another episode of the Good News Wednesday show, brought to you each week to put a smile on your face, a little fun in your week, and inspiration to get you through another challenging week. Today, we're going to be talking about letting go. But first, we've got to get your mind moving with the question of the week. Okay, this week's question, I hope I don't stump you. What has a face, two hands, but no arms or legs? Think about it. Well, I'm sure that I didn't stump you on this one, because what has a face, two hands, but no arms and legs? It's a clock, of course. But you knew that already. Okay, now on to the real topic, which this week we're talking about letting go on strategies for a happy life. So let's see what we can uncover about this very important topic. Have you ever felt stressed out and exhausted, even though you didn't do any physical labor? Sometimes the mental effort of dealing with a problem makes us feel even more stressed out and tired than if we had put in a full day of manual labor. I know this because I've talked to several people this week that have that feeling. And I'm here tonight to share a couple of things with you about how to combat letting go so that you don't have to have that stress in your life. Did you ever say, I just need some peace and quiet so I can think? That's possibly because it's caused by your surroundings. Did you know that an average room has over 2,000 objects in it? And then add to that looking on your computer, surfing online, reading emails, doing work at your job. And that adds up to a lot of distractions. You can quickly see how you can become overwhelmed. And today we're going to be talking about decluttering and how to let go of those distractions. Clutter is known to cause anxiety. In addition to that, it can cause depression and actual physical illness from having all those objects around. Imagine trying to focus your mind on something when there's 2,000 objects in a room. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, right? So what do we do about that? Today, I have 3 things that you can do to help your mind calm down and deal with clutter. Number 1, remember that getting rid of clutter is emotional work. Did you ever have a situation where you said, okay, I'm going to clean up this area, and then what happened? You got sentimental about some of the items. You started to think about what they reminded you of. Maybe it was a gift Maybe you even felt guilty because you never wore this thing, and here it is 3 or 5 years later and it's sitting in your closet. So just remember, if you start to deal with clutter and you become emotionally involved, try not to put it in another pile or just leave it in your closet. Take one small step, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Number 2, getting organized is not getting rid of clutter. Now, when you get organized, and I have friends who do this, they put things in storage bins and they rearrange their closet and they make different piles and so on and so forth. But is the clutter gone? No, it's still there. You have to actually set aside a time to decide that you are going to throw things out. If you're unable to part with an item, the clutter will never go away, and this problem will continue to disturb you. Number 3, the best way to start with decluttering is to tackle one small area at a time. Now, by that I mean you could focus 15 minutes of time on a drawer or part of your closet, and quickly as you can, try to sort those things into 3 piles or 3 bins. 1, things that you're going to definitely keep. 2, things that you're going to get rid of. And 3, things that you're not quite sure about. And at the end of that 15 minutes, make sure that your pile with the not quite sure about is it's not a whole lot bigger than the things you're going to keep or the things you're going to get rid of. The goal is to get rid of as much clutter as you possibly can in that 15 minutes. Make it a game. The key is that tackling clutter and letting go is done one step at a time. And if you take one little step every day, it will create a ripple effect. And soon you'll notice the difference. Now, as a wrap up, what you can do is become organized at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. Set up a little routine for yourself. What you do in the morning when you get up, that you put away your things and make sure that everything has its place. In the evening, washing the dishes, putting things away, throwing out the trash. This way you'll start to get in the habit of putting things away in their place, finding a place, and then feeling good about the fact that you've done that little item. I would like to suggest you check out The Fly Lady and Marie Kondo. Those are 2 of my favorites. The Fly Lady has the part where she started out in a total clutter up person and she cleaned her sink. And that's what she did, was she shined her sink and she vowed that she'd never have a sink full of dirty dishes again. That's how she started her decluttering process. Marie Kondo has a program where you see what things you keep by what sparks joy. And the things that don't, those are the ones you get rid of. So take some tips from both of them and from this little segment, and I hope that it helps you to let it go. So tonight on Real Estate Corner, my topic is kind of ambiguous if you first hear it. It's how to let your house go. Now, I just talked about how not to let your house go into clutter, but this is about letting your house go if you decide, or if you're in the process of deciding, to sell it and move. Now, a lot of people have been talking to me about this lately because of everything that has been going on in the economy and so on and so forth. So I just had a really nice conversation with a friend today, and we talked about with ways to deal with not becoming emotionally upset with thinking about making a move. So how do you do that? I've got a little strategy for you, and I use the PPM model. Now, what does PPM stand for, you ask? Well, I will tell you. First of all, get an idea, a good idea of the pricing of your home. Start thinking logically, thinking about the facts and about the things that you need to do in order to sell your home. And one of the first things that you would decide with your realtor would be, what price am I going to place on my home? So that's the first P. The second P is preparation, and that's preparation for the move. Thinking about all the things that you might need to do in order to move. If you've been in your house for a very long time, then obviously you're going to want to listen to my last segment about decluttering and about packing and about getting rid of things, right? Because you don't want to be taking that antique table to Arizona, do you? Really? No, of course not. So here's the thing. You want to make a plan and you want to get help. So don't be afraid to ask for help in that stage of planning for making the move. The third and final point that I wanted to make is planning the marketing and the strategy for when your house is on the market for sale, so that you can think ahead and know what exactly is going to take place. And if you know each step as you go along the way, then it will be less stressful, less intimidating, and you won't be so freaked out when you're thinking about letting your house go. Well, we've been talking about letting things go, and now we're talking about our trivia question, and you know that it has something to do with letting things go. So here is the question of the week, and if you would like a copy of your very own trivia question preview on Monday morning, please send me an email at Karen@homesbydonovan.com, and I'll be happy to send you a copy of our Monday morning wake up, which includes a trivia question as well as questions of the week and also a thought and inspiration to get you started on Monday. And then we continue on Wednesday by giving you the answer to the trivia question, plus some food for thought with strategies for a happy life. So let's get started with our trivia question that we asked folks on Monday. And I already had a bunch of responses, all pretty good. Here's the question. Speaking of letting go, if you let go of these items from a roof of a tall building, which one will land on the ground first? A bowling ball, a golf ball, a baseball, or all of the above? So A, a bowling ball, B, a golf ball, C, a baseball, or D, all of the above. Did I stump you? Well, I didn't stump several people. They got the answer right away. Now, you would think, some people think, that, the heaviest object is going to hit the ground first because it's heavier, right? In actuality, if you took physics, you learned that everything falls the same. Is that really true? So then we have to look at one other thing, which is, everything does fall the same. So the answer should be A, no, B, no, C, no, D, yes. All of the above should all land on the ground at the same time. Now, we only have one differential, and that is air resistance. So, like, for example, if you dropped a feather and a ping pong ball, even though they would both land at the same time, normally, the air resistance from that blows the feather around would make it land more slowly. So the same thing could happen if you dropped the bowling ball and, say, a baseball, that the air resistance on the baseball slowed it down a little bit so that the bowling ball got there a little bit faster. But normally, all items fall at the same speed. That's the answer that I was given. So I'm giving that to you. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode of Good News Wednesday. If you liked our show, I would sure appreciate it if you could give us a thumbs up if you're on Facebook, and a thumbs up and a subscribe if you're on YouTube. And of course, hit that bell so you're notified of future episodes of our program. Until next time, remember, stay safe, take care of those you love, and make it a great rest of the week.
Good News Wednesday's finally here. Let's stand up and give